Welcome back to everyone except the duck. He's no longer answering my calls after I cursed him out for saying I have a Kentucky Fried Menthol accent. He thought I wouldn't find out because I can't use the internets, but I did. I will not say how exactly, but it does involve a child, a library with a printer, and $50 a month, which I've been told is a livable wage in America. I would like the duck to know that that 4-word description of my voice is inaccurate in 3 ways. First, I'm not from Kentucky. The state that I'm from is unknown to the lower tiers of America Plus. To know about the state I was born and raised in, you have to get to at least Silver Star 20 status, and that requires recruiting at least 50 people for the America Plus program. If that makes America sound like a pyramid scheme, it's because it is. But the work you do to get there is worth the champagne fountains in the promised land. Either that or you can just be like me and earn your place there by the grueling task of being born into it, or as the media likes to put it, be self-made. The second part of the duck's description that's inaccurate is the menthol portion. Menthol is for the weak who need flavor with their smoke inhalation. No, I take my smoke in the purest possible way without a filter, and okay, I'll give the duck that one. My voice is probably a byproduct of smoking unfiltered cigarettes since I was 8 years old. The third thing that's wrong with the duck's statement is the fact that he's judging me. I read this amazing book once. Well, I didn't read it, but I read the Wikipedia article. Okay, it was a page torn out of a book that a kid had colored with free crayons at the dentist's office. It's talking about this kid named Jesus going around telling people to be kind to each other and all that. Don't think it'll catch on, but that kid was saying stuff. Wonder what happened to him. He was definitely going places. I'm gonna text the duck. Surprised I didn't think of this before. On top of all the other things that's wrong with kids these days, they don't answer their damn phone. Answer your damn phone. Stupid autocorrect. Who the hell is typing blasted Tor tan foam? Wait a minute. That's something I've heard about. This was before even I started, but in the early days of texting, Evil LLC made it so that all predictive text would predict things that no one would ever actually say. It's never duck, unless I'm talking to the duck, in which case it is duck. Autocorrect's always trying to make things politically correct when I'm trying to talk dirty with Jelly Bean Pop-Tart. And the times I don't want to be dirty, it sends completely wrong things. Let me look at my recent messages. I'm having a good wank. I'm a good couch rougher. I like my burrito sloppy after I'm finished. I swear I meant weak and fluffer. Can't remember what I was gonna say with the burrito thing, but I know it had something to do with a microwave bean burrito. On second thought, the fluffer thing might not make sense in context. Duck, could you please cut that out? I don't want to be known as the couch fluffer, and thankfully, I'm not the kind of person that people would associate with human couch relations. Imagine how embarrassing it would be if I was. Alright, let's get to the boxes. Again? Seriously, they just need to nip this in the butt. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but we got another one about squerking. To those who don't remember, squerking was a dance created by electrocuting a dead squirrel that was abandoned after the shame it brought to everyone involved. Somehow, it escaped Evil LLC's labs, though, and was taken up by animals in the wilderness, creating a grotesque display of animals Squerking. Now that you're caught up, the gears at Evil LLC moved very slowly when it came to stopping the spread of squerking. They did nothing for 2 months, and the problem escalated. Despite a temporary quarantine put up to prevent squerking animals from reaching populated areas, there was a breach. No one knows how, but a raccoon squirked its way out of quarantine into a group of kids who put it on something called TikTok. That should have been the end of it, but if I'm reading this correctly, TikTok is rather popular with the youths, and the video of the squirking raccoon went viral. Many attempted to copy the dance, and it has been trending on TikTok for a week, which is nearly unheard of because people move on so quickly that anything lasting more than 5 seconds is a miracle. Anyway, people have hurt themselves attempting to squirk, and while I'm certain the attempts are funny, the company realizes that something must be done. The new plan to deal with squirking, after months of ignoring the problem and letting it get much worse, is to get old people to start squirking on TikTok. I guess that makes sense. Nothing stops youthful trends faster than old people getting in on it. But what about the people who injured themselves? Oh, there's an acceptable loss report? Damn, that's a big number. The next story is an old one. The aliens known as the Greens want credit for the pyramids because they saw another one of those TV shows saying how there's no possible way humans could have done it without assistance from a highly advanced species. They say they gave the pharaohs blueprints and helped move rocks, even telling them what the buildings could be used for. First off, the Greens aren't advanced. You wouldn't believe how many of them still fall for Nigerian prince scams, and some of them even still fall for the old updog joke. Secondly, we know what happened with the Greens and the pyramids, and it didn't go at all like they're claiming. They tried to sell the ancient Egyptians on an idea for a burial site, but the dodecahedron design they proposed just looked dumb to the pharaohs. While the dodecahedron was around back then, the Greeks didn't sell that design to anyone until nerds needed a pastime and a piece of plastic to get angry at. The pharaohs decided on a simpler design, the pyramids, and the Greens refused to give up. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Greens are clingy. They offered to help carry the rocks, but the pharaohs said they had that part down and started getting their, I think I need a PC term for this due to YouTube censorship, non-paid workers who didn't have a choice in whether or not they did the work because they were bound to the pharaohs. Yeah, that's better than saying it. I will give the Greens that the idea of putting the dead inside the tombs was actually theirs, but it wasn't because they were trying to help the pharaohs. It wasn't altruistic at all. You see, after the pyramids were built completely without the Greens' aid, just to see if it could be done, the ancient Egyptians wanted to toss the Greens inside because they wouldn't go away. To keep themselves from being locked in the tombs forever, the Greens convinced the ancient Egyptians to use the pyramids for burials of kings because they were far too nice to waste on a prison for the Greens. It was either that or the Greens immediately getting into their spaceships and leaving that convinced the ancient Egyptians to bury the pharaohs in the pyramids. So I guess they really should get some credit. If it weren't for the Greens being incredibly annoying, the pyramids would be nothing more than pointy buildings, and Europeans of the 12th century would not know the taste of Egyptian mummies. What? This one actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. It's not something I've thought about before, but as I stare at these papers and think about the past, I realize how true it is. It must have been done slowly so as not to raise suspicion, and it worked. Dogs are getting smaller. I know that sounds crazier than anything I've said up until now, and I've said some things that really challenge people's beliefs. But hear me out. I was in the same boat as you when I learned about this less than 1 minute ago. In the 80s, the medium-sized dog was all the rage. Collies, pincers, Dalmatians, and retrievers dominated the parks. And now it's Shih Tzus, toy poodles, and Pomeranians. What happened? Evil LLC happened. In the 1960s, a client came to them with a proposal to make dogs smaller. As stated before, Evil LLC doesn't ask why, but looking at this report, I think I know. I'll get to that in a second. Evil LLC used Hollywood and kennel clubs to assist in the shrinking of dogs by making large dogs be seen as threats, when Chihuahuas are out there Napoleon complexing all over the world. The small dog was seen as a great addition for any family that wants to live in terror of a rat that thinks it's the Incredible Hulk. If you're single, it's the perfect fashion accessory since it can be carried around like a clutch, regardless of what the creature wants. It worked, and large-sized dogs are starting to be phased out, which is great for him. Evil LLC didn't see it back then. He wasn't a major player until he made his move in '63. But the client for this campaign was the most evil being in the universe, Francois. I'll get more into him next time since we're running out of time and I need to get some notes, get my ducks in a row, as it were. For the time being, have a good night, people. Stay suspicious.